Alright, let's go live. Going live. Going live. You're live! Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm gonna be testing Avatar Frontiers of Pandora on the GTX 1650, 3050, 3060, and maybe the 1050 Ti at the end. How are you guys doing? Welcome. I hope you're doing well. Thanks to Ubisoft for providing a code of the game. I've been playing this game yesterday, but the embargo lifted a few hours ago because I wanted to see a demanding part before jumping into conclusions on the live stream. How's it going, guys? Hey, Gamer Never Die percentage. How's it going? Interestingly, this game has FSR3 and FSR3 frame generation. We're going to definitely check that out. But some stuff requires the afterburner to be disabled for the frame generation. Rodrigo Torres, ¿todo bien? Okay, so first of all, guys, in the graphics, you'll notice that it says frame generation for FSR3. So it's at the top left corner. We have 29 FPS. If I enable frame generation, this happens. We jump from 29 to 29 to 51. Although, unfortunately, with afterburner on, this will not work properly. So we're going to be using it later to see if we can get 60s magically with some fake frames. So yeah, anyway, let me disable the music. Oh, it's already disabled. How's it going, guys? Hi, this game got released. Releases tomorrow for PS5, Series X, S, and PC. I got an early copy, thanks again to Ubisoft. So for temporal upscalers, we got temporal anti-aliasing, FSR3, which if you're not using frame generation is basically FSR2. You can limit your frame rate. This is the Snowdrop engine, by the way, the same engine as the Division 1 and 2. And after this we're doing the Steam Deck, of course. So settings, shadows on medium, contact shadows on low. This is for the small shadows on certain smaller objects. I think it's good to have them. Spot shadows, medium. Spot shadow resolution, medium. Shadow proxies, we turn them off for now, which is worse quality shadows. The reflections, the diffuse and specular reflections are quite demanding over medium. Same with the environment reflection quality. Then we got the good old volumetric clouds. We'll keep them on medium for now. Same with the volumetric fog. Medium seems to be a good in-between. But as you can see here, the extra streaming distance, if you crank this up, man, your frame rate is gone. Especially with the amount of trees. So yeah, also micro detail quality, if you go to low, it basically destroys the foliage. Particles, medium is fine. Scatter density, we can put it on high. Spotlight projection resolution, let's keep it at 128 due to VRAM constraints. Is this game, you wish this game was third person? Same, but hey, it is what it is. So this is the settings right now, basically mid-low, I'll call them. So this is 1080p, mid-low, plus FSR3 quality, no FG, which will be frame generation. We're going to use that later. And let me put the shadows on low. Anyway, here we go. Hopefully that's good enough. And let me enable afterburner so we can actually see the frame rate properly for now. One sec. Come on. Do you think you get 60 with 5700 XT? Yeah, it should be fine with frame generation. Okay, we got the overlay going. so you guys can see. Early access, yeah, I got early access, but this is a complete game. So I have a save more into the game, but we're going to start from scratch just to show you that you can skip cutscenes and first benchmarks, first impressions. Remember, at the beginning we're going to be indoors. It's not going to be demanding. That's why yesterday I speedrun my way through the intro just to see. And definitely once you get outside, the frame rate is half what you see indoors. Is the game on full screen? Yes, sir. Yes, it is. Also, shader compilation was done when the game launched, but the game doesn't tell you. So your CPU is at 100%. I'm skipping all the cutscenes. But the beginning of the game, until you get outside, is pretty boring. So I'm saving you that pain for now.
So today we will continue.
Yeah. We skip cutscene.
Get in.
What are you doing?
You'll be safe here.
Is Mercer leaving us?
We are no longer of use to him.
So as you can see, we get 50s in indoors. Okay, now we can make our character, kinda. So I'm just going to go woman.
You helped me before. I'll help you now.
And that's it. Maybe longer hair. No longer hair. Well, I'm not going to see my character much though, right? Yeah, it's kind of pointless. Let's continue. What's FG? Frame generation. I'm going to change into frame gen. Because this game, FSR3, allows for frame generation, but we gotta disable Afterburner to do so, which is a shame. Awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed the Steam Deck videos.
I'm here. Northern Thailand too.
It takes a lot of work to get them properly there. So as you can see, guys, when you start the game, you might say, oh, it's not that demanding. It's running fantastically well, actually. And you might be right, but we're indoors. There's no vegetation to speak of. And we got some spot shadows. So yeah, this is not realistic. So instead of playing through that, I wanted to show you just first impressions. We're going directly into Pandora. I already have a save of playing like a few hours. I played it yesterday. So we get to a more demanding part. Let's not waste time in the prologue. It's very slow, there's no combat. I believe only 4000 series can use frame gen. Well, in here it allows me to do so. But okay, so as you can see, once you head outside, this happens. So we need to do more tweaks. Let's try first lowest settings. Also, I'm over the VRAM limit, keep that in mind. The VRAM this game uses is the main thing. So keep that in mind. The main thing here is VRAM. We're basically, we're basically at the very limit. So let's see, low. Yeah, even on low, we're being very limited here. Why it's so blurry? Because we're using upscaling. Let me disable upscaling to show you. Well, it's probably the volumetrics as well. Yeah, it's because we were outside. Hang on. Let me go back to unscaling. Let's try balanced. Let's go indoors. It's because it's rainy, so there's fog everywhere. But again, the main issue we have here is VRAM. That's why lowering the settings didn't help me much. But the game itself is quite soft. especially at these lower resolutions. So I don't think 1080p is worth doing. Let's try 900p instead. Does the game have DLSS? Yes. Alright, 900p right away. Okay, so 900p with FSR quality and the low preset. Let's go.
I'd like to learn even more Navi. My pronunciation's getting pretty good, I think.
Yeah, we're VRAM limited, heavily VRAM limited. And the system RAM is at 15 gigabytes. Far Cry in the Avatar world, basically, but with less enemies to fight every 5 seconds. Yeah, even with the lower resolution, I'm still getting significant drops. Okay, let me try something else. Let me see if there's micro detail. Let's destroy the foliage. Let's lower the object detail to 0. Shadow proxies, yes. Shadows on the lowest. We're still over the VRAM limit with these settings, but I need to restart the game now. So, since I removed most of the foliage now, the micro detail, as they call it in the game, is going to need a reload. Starfield players, when they see doors without loading, oh my god! I love those Starfield memes. And thank you so much, Sahendra Malik, for the 40 Indian rupees donation. He says, Blue People Simulator 2023. Also, thoughts on GTA 6? It looks incredible. It looks better than Red Dead 2, but with a more massive map. I don't know how they pulled it off, but it will be amazing. Usually when Rockstar shows something in a trailer, it's pretty accurate to what the game looks like. So yeah. Anyway, let's see if that fixes our problem. Yeah, it's the same engine as the Division games. This is the Snowdrop engine. We're already doing the 3060. We do the 3050 after this, then the 3060. Okay. That seemed to fix the issue. Let me see if I can push it a little bit further. Need to be low, FSR3 quality, no frame generation. There we go. So we're pushing it as low as we can to save on VRAM. It's less blurry now, yeah. Not sure what happened there. Alright. Although despite being low, it still has screen space reflections. That's pretty impressive. Although, man, look at those trees into the distance. Oh, Jesus. It's a beautiful game until, I mean, looks amazing then when suddenly into the distance. Let me crank up the view distance. Jesus. Object detail on 10. Still not enough. Yeah, the thing is the VRAM. VRAM is the main problem here. Hi, Clipsy. How's it going? Will it work on a hard drive? Probably, but it will be a difficult thing. So let me crank some stuff up. Let me see if I can get any more geometry. Okay, very low shadows. Okay. Yeah, but I'm not sure if this is a thing with the settings. I think this is memory related, actually. I mean, the game looks great, but the main issue is VRAM. So with 4 gigs of VRAM, I'm inclined to say good luck to you. Let's see if those trees in the distance load. And thank you, Electric Pichu, for the 6 Israeli and shekels donation. He says, to be honest, GTA will kill my poor PS5. That's okay. That's how it should be. Yes, as you get closer, the trees are fine. But you need to put the density on the lowest. I thought you were going to commit to the video and paint yourself blue. No, not yet. I'm not ready for that. So as you can see, the trees into the distance look like blobs. This is because we're low on VRAM resources, even if I crank up the view distance. Also, I think it has to do with this option called where is it? I missed the option, hang on. No, it's not this. The micro detail quality. I put it on low, but if you drop it below medium, it requires you to restart the game. So as you can see on low, it's pretty okay. On medium has lots more detail, as you can see. Then on high has way more foliage, and then on ultra, well, it has some extra details. So to save on VRAM and performance, I had to lower this to the lowest, which required me to restart the game. The object detail, let's leave it on 0 for performance reasons, like in the Division. Volumetric fog, let's get rid of that. Same with the quality of the volumetrics. So yeah, we're basically on the lowest settings with good destruction and some terrain tessellation, basically. And with that you should be mostly fine, but as you can see, the draw distance is very, very, very low. Look at that tree. Yeah, I think I can cramp up the view distance a bit. So it looks like an actual tree from a distance. Frame generation on. Yeah, guys, it's not going to be magic. And also remember that frame generation has its own performance cost. And with Afterburner, I'm unable to enable it. So give me 1 sec. Let me see if I can fix that rough tree. Let's put it at 10. There we go. Yeah, the view distance at 10 should be good enough. The thing is, the performance impact is quite significant. So I think we'll have to use balanced FSR. Okay, that's better. But still, see those stutters when I move the camera like this? Those stutters, those drops? That happened to me on my main PC, and I tried it on PS5 as well. And on PS5 it also sometimes has some spike in the frame time there. It's mostly related to VRAM in this case, unfortunately. Maybe 5 for object detail. Yeah, not too bad. but still. Let me fast travel back to base. Or to the part that I have to. You stream at 4K now? Yeah, because in games with so many smaller details like this one, usually compression kills us if it's not at 4K. Yeah, but 1080p still, it's too much. We gotta go for 900p on this one. Okay. 900p. Low mid, FSR3 balanced, no frame gen for now. Yeah, with a controller maybe it's better in that regard. I agree with you, Sahandra. But I noticed that texture pop-in that happens. This game is struggling because of VRAM. I'm pretty sure that's the main issue. Frame generation is going to kill it even further. I wish I could skip to daytime somehow. Or maybe daytime is coming. Okay, I gotta go to maintenance. Let me double check the settings once more. For draw distance. Yeah, this is basically medium to low settings. Yeah, mostly low. Let's call this low. But again, the main thing is that the streaming distance is set to 5. The micro detail is set to low. Otherwise, it will be a complete mess. But again, the main issue is the VRAM. If you look behind me, it's using more VRAM than we can handle. FSR balanced. And thank you so much, Carolis. Oh, your surname, Liutkavicus Vicious, for the 2.49 euros donation. Thank you so much, man. He says, how's the audio? Ubisoft seemed really proud of it. Yeah, the audio is very, very good. I have noise cancelling headphones, and you can hear you're in a jungle. I think they did a great job with the traversal on the audio, especially. Yeah, the audio is pretty good. Thanks again for the donation. Thank you so much, man. Your first donation on YouTube. Or on my channel. Okay, let's progress with the story. Eat food. No, el juego sale mañana. Guys, for the people wondering, the game comes out tomorrow. There will be a day 1 patch that will improve things a bit. But again, the issue here is that we only have 4 gigs. 4 gigs doesn't cut it for this game. So where did I have to go? There.
Nut-feed physiology is really similar to our own.
That's why we get those spikes. The game tries to load something, but there's no space. But again, I like the audio, and I also like the traversal. The traversal feels good. That guy.
You did well out there. The back
Your personal game of the year, Resident Evil 4 Remake.
There.
Or the RoboCop game.
The enemy's reach is expanding. The clans must take notice.
Samson really needs a refresh.
I already have my bow and arrow. And as you can see in this game, you are very tall. Very tall.
You're a good shot, huh? Maybe we can practice together.
Look for sign outside the research area at Resistance HQ.
Activities here are ravaging local flora. Gotta do something.
Far Cry in Avatar universe, yeah, but you get less gunfights. In Far Cry, you're killing enemies all the time. Here, there is enemies to kill, but not as many all the time. There's other things to do as well. Ooh, that's so beautiful.
Where are you?
Even on the lowest setting, look at that tree. Yeah, they did a great job with the environment. Start
I
investigation.
wonder if...
Footsteps. Does FSR 3 upscaling look better than FSR 2? FSR 3 upscaling is basically the same for me so far. Visually speaking.
I wonder if... Nor must have come through here. Okay.
Footsteps.
Nor left HQ. Definitely came this way. Burst the vein pod. Must have brushed past it. The scent.
Did you use a Blue
yes.
People reproduction in this game? Asking for a friend. I don't know. That's a good question. I forgot to ask the use of rep about it.
Priya, you hearing me? I was
But again,
tracking Noel
VRAM
cliff
I think is the
outside.
main
I lost
problem
the scent.
over here.
Looks like he crossed a river.
I'm sure he's not gone far. Maybe he just wanted to explore a bit.
Maybe. I'm going to keep climbing.
Did you watch the movies? I watched the first one, then the second one I didn't watch it. Are you food? Now, one thing I really like for immersion is that you can disable all the map guides and aids like I'm using here. The visual aid can be completely disabled, so you're more of an exploration thing. And a game like this, it really does work for me.
Hey, so let
Yeah, the game on Ultra looks insane, even on high.
Nor's nearby. Maybe you could speak to him about your clan, how it feels. So let
Alma and I are checking in on one of our other camps. It's gone quiet.
you sound worried.
The Sky people continue to spread.
You think they found it? So let
Hopefully I can find him so I can continue on daytime. $1660 Super, no I don't have it, but it will be way better because we're limited by VRAM. VRAM is the issue here. There's no way around it, unfortunately. So yeah, if you're hoping to play with this card, you can, but it's not a good experience. His 30s with drops even at the lowest settings. Some stuff can be on medium, but I don't know. It just kills the visuals. Also, one funny thing, if you're crouching in a small environment and you try to stand up, you hit your head. And the character reacts. I thought that was pretty funny. Okay, do I have something to shoot? But again, I think this card, playing on this card ruins the experience of the game. I think it's all about immersion. You can play with the guided thing like I'm doing here for the live stream purposes. So I have to pay less attention. Okay, here it comes. The Ubisoft presents the worst looking version of this game. Hi there. Can you die after bashing the character's head? No, unfortunately not. Believe me, I tried. Alright, hopefully I can fly. Sorry, skippy cutscene. Also, there's lots of trees into the distance. Those look like rocks. Those are trees that do not load up. Because, well, we don't have enough VRAM to do so. Okay, skill points. It says, help the resistance. Summon Solar under attack. Blah, blah. Follow the smoke in the rising spires. Okay. Or I could just fast travel, right? Oh, I cannot. So where's the smoke? The smoke... Did the smoke random for me? I gotta go that way. Okay, here we go. Please don't die. Okay, I did it. Does PS5 have 6 FPS? Yeah, I tried the PS5. There is a 30 FPS mode that seems to be trying to get to 4K, but not getting to 4K. I mean, it tries to get to 4K, but it doesn't succeed. It looks good. And the performance mode seems to be closer to 1080p, 1440p in the middle. It hits 60, but ISO drops into the 50s at
I'll get to them
times.
first, I promise.
So yeah, even on PS5, it doesn't seem to be 100% perfect. Are you going to stream the Game Awards? Hell yeah. I'm super excited for you guys to watch it with me, so we can laugh about the Game Awards. Because it's like 3 hours long. I'm going to be there for a while. Oh, Jesus. Try hitting me now. Okay, here's the enemies.
Nope, can't stop. No time for them.
Yeah, there is time for them. Dead, reduced to atoms. High 1080p and turn on DLSS balance from... Okay, DLSS on the 1650 doesn't exist. FSR 3 on 1080p still doesn't help us. And we are VRAM limited, so no matter what I do, it's going to stay like that. Let me advance a little bit further before I swap GPUs. I think I've seen enough. Yeah, FrameGen works on the 1650, but it's not amazing. And this is FSR 3 frame generation. It shouldn't be working because we don't have what it takes. So it's probably going to destroy the performance because it has an impact on the GPU. But still. Yeah, I'm going to try frame gen in a moment. Let me get to some combat. So, oh, animals, great. Resources. Okay, let me skip this part. Yeah, the game is not on Steam, unfortunately.
How they
The PS5 seems to be a mix between medium and high for what I've been playing.
Be ready.
What? Where?
Breathe. Use your surroundings. Look for openings. The humans will stumble into your traps.
Cool, traps. Alright, so now let's do frame generation. Again, it's not going to do miracles. But unfortunately for frame generation to work, I need to remove close MSI Afterburner. Because otherwise you get this, fail to toggle frame generation. This is a known issue when using some external software. So what I'll be doing is disabling Afterburner and using the in-game FPS counter, which basically is the Ubisoft overlay. So allow me a second to fix that up for you. So you guys can see what I'm talking about. So in the pause menu we have 100 FPS. What a surprise. So let's see. We get 29 FPS, 30 like we were before. Now we enable frame generation. Hopefully it doesn't crash. There we go. Okay, frame generation. For some reason my FPS counter disappeared.
I trust you to make good use of it.
Oh god. Guys. The frame generation is completely borked. At least for this card. I love that the arrows sound like a 50 cal is being fired. Yeah, no. Guys, don't play with frame generation. At least not when you're at sub 30 FPS. I mean, it works, but it doesn't feel good to aim or anything. And there's issues that look worse than screen tearing. Especially around the HUD. I mean, look at the top left corner of the screen. I mean, don't get me wrong, feels smoother than 30, but I feel lots of input lag. And there's some issues. Try VSync? Yeah, sure, why not? Half rate, third rate, quarter rate, what? No, with VSync it's even worse. Yeah, I know. Yeah, for some reason we can enable frame generation in this game. On this card. Which technically is not supported. It doesn't have the necessary hardware to do so. So I'm guessing it's emulating it. But man, it looks horrible. It feels horrible with frame gen at this frame rate. So my advice for this game, guys. Unfortunately, this card with 4 gigs, this game is not cutting it. So I'd say use 900p. Use very low, like you see here. Everything basically on the lowest. The streaming distance is the biggest FPS hit. We keep it on 4 so we can see some trees. medium particles and scatter detail is fine, didn't affect performance. Same with destruction and terrain tessellation. But again, the issue is the VRAM. No matter how much we lower the resolution or FSR or we use frame generation, just the amount of VRAM is not good enough. So the game cannot really work properly. So F's in the chat for the 1650. Yeah. Kevin, ¿todo bien? Unfortunately, the FPS overlay had to be disabled from frame generation, so I couldn't see the frame rate, which sucks. Let me check. All right, let's swap GPUs now. All right, here we go. Sí, sale mañana, Alejandro. Maybe a couple hundred megahertz overclock can make it better. No, if we're low on VRAM and the game is trying to access more memory, we'll start using the system RAM, and it's not as fast as VRAM. And as you can see, the game really suffers for it. I didn't even check the requirements for the game actually. Let me check those super quick. Okay, the requirements for the game. 16 gigabytes of RAM, okay. Okay, 8 gigabyte GPUs are the minimum requirement. Interesting. Unrecommended 12 gigabytes. Okay. That's why we were trying to play a game that as a minimum recommends 8 gigabytes of VRAM on a 4 gigabyte card. That explains a lot. We're going to try 1080p high with DLSS off for now. We're on a 3050 now. If you use Nvidia image scaling, it's like using FSR, but manually. Where can I get your PC's Resident Evil wallpaper? It's in the description. At the bottom of the description, you'll find it. Yeah, I was playing at half the VRAM requirements. Yeah. But now you'll see the game as it's meant to be seen, because it looks beautiful. They really captured how Pandora looks in the movie. I watched the first movie, by the way, but it really looks amazing on the environments. So the first thing you're going to notice when you launch the game is that your CPU will start crying for help. That's because it's compiling shaders. So the faster your CPU, the faster you'll get into the game. So on video, we're on 1080p now. Now there is DLSS as an option, but we're keeping TAA without any upscaling. So upscaling is completely disabled. On graphics, we're going directly to high, but there's some stuff on high that I disagree with, such as the draw distance is a little bit too much. What are you drinking? Coffee. And I gotta restart the game as well. But on the high preset, let's disable motion blur. Hang on. On the high preset, you get the extra streaming distance at 5. This destroys performance. This destroys performance. But the rest can be left as is. Also the volumetrics, we can lower them a bit. And the reflections on medium by the high preset are really a great idea. So I think the high preset with the lowered extra streaming distance is the best way to tweak it, at least so far. So let me restart the game because I have to do it. This is because when I was testing the 4GB card, I had to disable the better vegetation, to say it in some way. So the better vegetation really takes a hit on the VRAM. So how is it on the 4060? On the 4060 should be a little bit ahead of the 3060 that I'm going to test in a moment. 4070, 144 FPS easy on Ultra. Yeah, no, not going to happen. Your CPU is going to be held back, I think. Although if you use frame generation, it'll probably do. Although it ran better than I anticipated on the I have a 4070 Ti. I played at 4K with quality DLSS, that is 1440p internally on high settings. It was like 70 to 80 FPS, so it was pretty good. So we're using the high preset, which has some stuff on medium. So high preset. Is a 3050 better than the 2070? No, the 3050 is a little bit slower than a 2060, so the 2070 is much faster. No, Sahendra, they want people to buy the 6GB cards.
What? Where?
Okay, so with those settings, well, as you can see, in comparison to the 4GB card, the game looks incredible in comparison. So with high settings, we're getting basically 30s when looking into the distance, which is fine. It's understandable. But we got the extra streaming distance enabled, so in order to see the performance hit there, 38 FPS, when I disabled the super heavy extra streaming distance, did I say 38? Sorry. Hang on. Was it this one of the object detail? Yeah, okay. So in certain sections of the game, this kills performance, so we lowered that. And the object detail, let's put it on 10. This is the draw distance right away. There, from 15 to 10, it made a 4 FPS difference, but I don't want to destroy the draw distance either, so yeah. So after we do so, there has to be something else. Well, volumetric fog, we lowered that as well to medium. Again, extra streaming distance, you don't need to use it. The micro detail, we can keep it on high, it's okay. Distortion quality, torrent isolation should be fine on medium. Again, we're sacrificing some performance for draw distance. In this case, it does make sense. The speculars, we can lower those as well, because there's a lot of reflections. Spot shadows, medium. Depth of field, no thanks. Okay. Let's call this mid-high. DLSS off, and we're using object LOD 10, which is this one. Again, this is one of the most demanding things you can do. 90 degrees FOV, yeah. You can tweak the FOV. And again, we're on native resolution right now. Let's see. Let the game load. Okay, so now we're into the 40s instead of the upper 30s. Okay, I died. That's okay. But we still have DLSS to work with.
Soldiers coming. Be ready.
What? Where?
So this is native. But we can use DLSS. So we go here to DLSS. Scaling mode fixed. Quality. And that should give us a good boost. Did you try frame generation? Yeah, I tried it, but not on this card yet. Unfortunately, the frame generation in this game is only for FSR 3, and this card doesn't have DLSS frame generation compatibility, but it will work with FSR 3. So, one sec.
Look for openings.
So now we're into the 50s with DLSS quality and the tweaks we made. We got the reflections still. So yeah, pretty good. So I think with FSR 3 and frame generation with these settings and the quality upscaling, we should be getting like 90 FPS.
I left more ammo for that staff sling on the airlock roof. I trust you to make good use of it.
That's a trap. My only big issue with the what's the name of this? With the frame generation is that I cannot show frame rates for some reason. Die! But as you can see, the game looks beautiful. And I love that the arrow, when I fired the arrow, sounds like a 50 cal BMG being fired. Listen. Okay, let's make more arrows. I wish I could grab their assault rifles, but that's not happening, unfortunately. But I love the amount of vegetation and stuff moving that we get. It really feels alive.
I think that might be it.
I'm not done here yet.
Okay, guys. Shift F2. Okay.
It's too much. I need a medical kit.
Let's try the same thing but with frame generation. So we gotta use FSR 3.
Where's nearby?
So first, on FSR 3 we get basically, yeah, visually it's not as good at DLSS. But I really love how dynamic the vegetation is. It really feels like a jungle. Very faithful to the source material. Anyway, now let's try frame generation. Unfortunately, again, I gotta close MSI Afterburner because it's hooked to the game. And let's see if we can see the frame rate with the Ubisoft overlay thing. So we're into the 50s. I enable frame generation. This is FSR 3. Oops, wrong keyboard. Okay. Yeah, when I'm using frame generation, it doesn't allow me to see the frame rate like at all. That sucks. Don't I have a button to see I mean, it feels smooth, but I still have... I'm not sure if you guys notice at the top left corner of the screen. With frame generation, when I move the camera... Hang on. Yeah, something is off there. It's like a line around the UI. I'm not sure if you can notice it on the... due to the compression, but it's horrible. And I supposedly, well, it feels way smoother now, actually. But the thing is, when I move the camera, I get some jittering at the top left corner of the screen. So right now I cannot recommend frame generation. How about the Nvidia overlay? It's not installed, I think. I didn't install. Oh, I can use the... hang on. I can use the Microsoft thing. Not sure if you can read. Okay, there we go. So we're getting 80 FPS. Let me pin this here. Oh, you know what? I'll pin it at the top of the screen. There we go. Hold up. I'm doing magic here, guys. Hang on. Let me get cooking. Okay. Thanks Microsoft for the great FPS counter. Alright. Although I don't know why I have a cursor on screen. Never mind. So looking at this scene, we got 82 FPS with frame generation, but if I disable the frame generation, instead of 82, we got 190, okay, 50. So we jump from 50 to 80 FPS. That's crazy. So frame generation does indeed work, but I think you need more frames for that. I don't know. Yeah, you can use it with VSync, but those edges, the top left corner, I don't know why, looks horrible with frame generation. Let's use VSync. Yeah, let's try VSync on. And let's put the monitor at 60 Hz as well. Let's see. No, it's the same thing, guys. I mean, don't get me wrong, it works. Feels way smoother. But the top left corner of the screen is completely fucked. Let's try to limit it to 60. No, that didn't work. I think when you enable frame generation, the game doesn't care. Yeah, my only issue, guys, with frame generation so far in the game is that this edge is completely destroyed. Yeah, I don't know, there's like a pixelated, annoying circle around it. Don't get me wrong, it works, and I'm blown away on how well it works. But it's not perfect still. Yeah, 60 Hz, Basing on half rate, I don't think is going to make a difference, but still. No, it's still the same. I think the game just ignores all that. Let me see if I get to a lower, like, performance DLSS. Sorry, performance FSR3. If that fixes things. But basing doesn't do anything. At least not when frame generation is on. So performance, and let's see if a higher frame rate help us. Yeah, no, still happens. So yeah, frame generation works, but the top left of the screen is completely fricked. Even at a high frame rate. Don't get me wrong, it's way smoother, but the top left of the screen is completely destroyed. Yeah, I didn't deliver the supplies. Yeah, I was looking at frame rates. No, you are, Hyrak. You are. So guys, to sum up, frame generation so far, well, it's a good idea. I don't fully recommend it yet. It works, but the edge of the screen that is pixelated like that, I couldn't fix that. So yeah, we're going to have to do, like before, DLSS quality. And maybe we can do some tweaks to the draw distance. So let's put it on 5. Maybe micro detail on medium. Okay, this is good enough. Destruction can be left there. This we can lower it a bit. The speculars, we keep them on low. Just don't look at the edge, yeah. Good point. Yeah, but it's very distracting. Okay, quality. All right. And let's enable the older FPS counter so you guys can see what's going on. Give it a moment to start up. Yeah, 1440p plus frame gen plus FSR balance. Yep. Not a bad idea. Okay, and the LOD is at 5. So let me show you the settings that I think should be good enough. I think 50 to 60 should be good enough. So the settings are the following: 1080p, DLSS quality, fixed scaling mode. On graphics, we keep it like this: medium, 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 high, shadow proxy is disabled, specular reflections on low, diffuse reflections on medium. Applying a higher value in setting. Oh, okay, this is done by ray tracing. Applying a higher value in this setting may lower performance if the graphics card doesn't support ray tracing. So the game has forced ray tracing, interesting. I didn't know that. I thought the ray tracing was optional. So maybe the reflection in the VVH quality, the quality of the ray trace reflections, can be lowered as well. So object detail 5. What the? Object detail on 5. Low speculars, medium diffuse, low environment reflection quality, low VVH quality, which is for ray tracing, apparently. Micro detail medium, particles on high, scatter on high. And basically like that. Those are the settings for me. With DLSS on quality. I tried frame generation with and without VSync, was the same thing. It works, but the edge of the screen has like a consistent line that doesn't look good. So yeah, with these settings you get 50 to 60 with great visuals. So yeah, I think it is what it is. Always FSR versus DLSS. DLSS looks better, but FSR has the frame generation option. Which is great, it works very well. The thing is that the UI destroys the frame generation for some reason. Visually speaking.
Alma, I found the supplies. I'll be right
Yeah, finally got a gun. Yeah, it's closer to Far Cry Primal than any other Far Cry, actually. Victor, I'm not going to delve any further on that.
So, like, there's another Navi here. They're helping me.
Good. Explosives are done. That should be enough to distract the rest. Make sure the camp is clear.
What I do need though is to heal. Let's see how the rifle feels. The assault rifle. I think I'd rather use my arrows. And my explosives. Yeah, I'm better with arrows than with the assault rifle. Yeah, the weapon texture seems kinda meh. Well, that's because the weapon is dirty, I think. Okay, where to now? Bring the medical supplies to Alma. Okay, where was the camp? This is the camp.
That was close. They had plenty of amp suits. More than I've seen.
Is it early access? I got early access, yeah.
So, like, another
Let me see if I can improve things with balanced FSR. Sorry, balanced DLSS.
showed up to help. A Dua from the
Yeah, I think
Alana
balanced
clan.
should
She
do it.
asked me to visit her home tree. Maybe more Navi will join us now?
Not likely. I tried before. It did not go so well. Their leader, Kanan, practically threw me out. He is not easily swayed.
He's not afraid of the RDA?
Rather, they have already caused him great sorrow.
Okay, as you can see in daytime, it's gorgeous.
Suffering.
Yeah, I think ray tracing mixed with screen space reflections. Hence why it was so demanded on the 4 GB card, I guess.
Their eyes to an uneasy truth. But a silent tool may help them see.
Let's grab food. Delicious. How do you get it? Yeah, I got it from Ubisoft, thanks to them for providing early code. Yeah, there's no aim down sights either. And the texture of the gun is okay, it's not great, not amazing. But it works. I'd rather use the arrows. Thanks, Pamuditha. I appreciate that. Hang on, let me get some fruit. So yeah. Looking pretty good. Okay, those are the volumetric clouds. Let me see what happens if I crank those up a little. Oh, they're just like that, okay. It looks good. I like how it looks. This is not Unreal Engine 5, guys. This is the Snowdrop engine, the engine that was used for the Division. Okay. I think it's time to try 1440p. Allow me a moment. Okay, 1440p now. We're trying here to get 30 FPS. So we're going to crank up those settings. Let's put it on high. There we go. Although motion blur, duh, it's too aggressive in this game. Okay, so 1440p, high preset, DLSS balance, and let's see how it goes. Yeah, the extra draw distance makes a difference, although the clouds are still pretty trash. But 1440p like this on the high preset as a 30 FPS configuration, I think is pretty good. You still get the nice reflections, you get the blurry nice reflections, grainy, but you get greater draw distances for the trees, and you get very lush vegetation, as it should be. So yeah, if you're in for the graphics, this is how you do it. Also the shadows are pretty interesting. The sun shadows. I mean, the 1080p configuration didn't look bad, but this clearly has that extra detail that makes it look much better. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with the clouds on this one. They're very grainy. Oh, I forgot if I don't have anything equipped, I can run. Hold up. Okay. So yeah, it looks incredible. Not sure if you guys can notice the rich detail of the foliage with the YouTube compression. That's why I stream at 4K, but I'm not sure if that's enough. But visually it's very good, especially in the environments. Oof. Freaking monkey. Sorry. Freaking wolf. That wasn't a monkey. Yeah, as you can see, there is some ray tracing there. Mixed with screen space reflections. That's why it's so grainy. On the reflections, I mean. How do I pull this out? There we go. I don't know what this is for, but I'll take it. What video codec do you use? I use AV1. I'm trying to, and it's at 30,000 kilobits per second. I wish I could go higher than 30,000, but the limit of YouTube is 30,000 upload. So I'm using AV1 for the best results. Not sure if YouTube, that's the correct work with it, but I try. Pandora Cry 2. It feels a little bit, it feels like Far Cry, but with some, it feels more similar to Far Cry Primal, I would say.
I really must speak more with M.2's father about the resistance.
Later, my young. Here's our Uluk-Eitan, our clan's leader. Let us clean you up.
So yeah, you can do 30s with red visuals at 1440p. You just need DLSS balanced. Let's try very quickly 4K. Just for tradition. We're putting performance DLSS as usual. Let's see if the high preset can be handled. Otherwise, we're doing medium. Yeah, we're doing medium. This is 4K. So 4K medium preset, DLSS performance. How is FSR 3? Looks like FSR 2, but it has frame generation. Which works, but it has some visual bugs.
About the resistance.
Later, my young. Here's our
So yeah, it looks great with frame generation. It works. The thing
Just
is,
a minute, sorry.
the UI, around the UI there's some issues. Also look at the VRAM and RAM.
About the resistance.
Later, my young. Here's our Uluk-Eitan, our clan's leader. Let us
And on medium it still has a lot of details.
frighten the hide off an Angsik looking like that. Besides, I would not mention those sky people if I were you. They are nothing but trouble.
I wish I could
and
skip
Ratnaf
this.
does not like trouble. Let me show you off a bit instead. Will you allow me that? It has been
What's up with
an
your face?
age since we had Sarentu around here. Your people certainly made life more interesting. One time, they told us a tale about the rare mating rituals of the giant Zakru. Apparently, it can take days.
Yeah, to listen to this character it can take days.
But there will be time for that later. Our great tree has
It's
many
funny about the
stories,
face.
lived many lives, hosted your ancestors as our guest before you.
So far for what I'm playing, FSR3 looks good. Visually it's kinda like FSR2, but it has frame generation as an option.
Come, see my weavers. Art Koranu, my dear. You see, now is the
Thanks again Ubisoft for the early cut of the game.
Speaking of which,
Before I swap to the 3060, I'm going to show you.
Relun, finally, and with the
FSR3 with frame gen before I swap.
Relun is a prickly one, but he is the very best cook. He knows it too. And here, there is no need to rush yourself, child. Go now if you want.
Yeah, I go now.
And enjoy our beautiful silk harvest if you need a little rest. No Arana here would begrudge you that.
Home tree aches. It cannot hold so many.
So if I want to play at 4K medium, you can with performance DLSS. Looks great. Medium still looks good.
Come.
Very lush vegetation and draw distance. So that's pretty good. So now I'm going to show you the FSR3 thing. Before that, let me show you 1080p. So you understand. You know what, let's do it at 1440p instead. I think that will make more sense for you guys. RTX 750. Funny. Then you do FSR3, you put the scale in unbalanced. And on the graphics, let's put them on high. So balanced FSR3. Let's see the frame rate. We get 30s. Let's do medium instead. I don't like jumping from 30 to 60 with frame generation. It looks horrible. Okay, 41. Okay. So unfortunately, as I said before, in order for frame generation to work, I need to turn off Private Tuner. So to see the frame rate, we're going to need the Microsoft overlay. So I'm going to put it up here so you guys can see it. There we go. Thanks, Microsoft Overlay. So with the FPS counter set up, we're getting
So like, I made it
43 FPS, 42. I enable frame generation. Buenas, Dino Claudio. And instead of 43, we get
We're wrong about them. But one of them
69
said,
FPS.
"Nafika,
As you can see, there is a
she
big
thinks I can
performance
impress
improvement.
Cottonut if I show him I can hunt properly.
So this is 1440p medium,
It's okay. Nafika said
balanced
one of your hunters might show me
FSR3
Itu.
plus
Be careful.
frame
Do not need to
generation.
them. You are Sarendu, and Kanan should honor that. Come back to HQ anytime you like, alright?
Oh, and I forgot B-Sync. Sorry.
You are not alone, and there is much to do here.
Although despite the B-Sync, I still get screen sharing. But there, you jump from 40 to 60. It feels very smooth.
Please come.
Not the same at 60, don't get me wrong. But there's some visual bugs from time to time, especially with the UI. When you're seeing your objectives. So yeah. When you start tracking something here at the top left, it has like a circle. That's the only issue. Otherwise, it works very well. The thing is, when the UI pops up at the screen, it kills the visuals. So as long as they can fix that, I can recommend frame generation. Works very well. It does feel close to what real 6 FPS feels like. And you can do medium settings with balanced FSR3 at 1440p. Which means that we could actually do 1080p with quality FSR3. On high. Frame generation only for the RTX cards. For FSR3. RTX cards and the newer AMD cards. So keep that in mind. Older cards, yeah, it works on the 1650, but it's not great because we're VRAM limited. So good luck with that. I tried it, it was horrible with that. Okay, so we got quality FSR3. Frame generation off. So this is 1080p high. Quality FSR3. Frame generation off. So we got 49 FPS. Okay, fine. But if you go here, enable frame generation, instead of 40 something, we get 80. So we doubled the frame rate basically. But the thing is, again, when you get UI that covers most of the screen, it's horrible. It has an issue with the UI that has that objective marker on the screen. Because the UI has like a background. And that background that is kind of like... I don't know how to say this word. That has a blurry background, like depth of field as the background of some UI. That creates like an artifact around it that is very distracting. Otherwise, it works great. So you can play on high settings, quality FSR3 with frame generation on the 3050. So if they fix those UI bugs with frame generation, this is the best way to play the game with this card. Anyway, that's all good. But now we gotta jump to the next card. The input lag is fine. I mean, it doesn't feel like solid 60s, like real life. But it feels way smoother than 40, without a doubt. Visually, still looks good. So that's good news. I mean, again, it's not perfect, but it feels way better. It's a free improvement. And I'm happy to see that. Took them long enough to have a competition of frame generation. Alright, let's keep it on high and swap GPUs, shall we? 60 FPS without frame generation. I already talked about that at the start of the 3050 section. You can rewind and find it. There's a way to get that. Requires some tinkering, but it works. Okay, let's swap to the 3060. Alright. Yeah, I love that AMD has that tech open for as many people as possible. I mean, frame generation is not the solution, but it's a good thing that they added that. Too bad there's no... I mean, because Nvidia locked frame generation behind the RTX 40 series, while the 30 series is more than capable of doing it. The thing is, Nvidia says, yeah, but it's not that great quality. I don't believe any word out of Nvidia. Yeah, the stock cooler will always be there. Trust me on that one. Alright, welcome back. 3060. We're going to do 1080p high. No upscaling. But we'll need it, definitely, to keep the good visuals going on. I think anything over high in this game is a little bit overkill, to say it in some way. But it looks good, even on low. You forget the screws? No, I didn't. There's a screw holding the card together on the lower side. The screw is always there, so I put the card there. So the card is not like hanging on the PCI Express slot. It's actually standing over a screw. Yeah, the game has the Nouveau, guys. Yeah, unfortunately, this is a de Nouveau game. Are you going to test FSR3? I did. And I will keep doing it. Since in this game we get frame generation even on the 30 series cards. So hell yeah. Is this game Far Cry with the Avatar skin? Is something else, really. It's more like Far Cry Primal, but there's no enemies every 5 seconds. If you know what I mean. I mean, there is enemies, but they're not trying to kill you every 5 minutes. It's not non-stop action like Far Cry. Okay, so the high preset without motion blur. Let's continue. Then one affects CPU performance, so that's my big issue with it. Okay, so without any upscaling on high settings, we're getting 40s on the 3060. Pretty respectable. If I put it on medium, it's probably 50 to 60, but I want to stay on high. So we use DLSS quality, which still looks good. And there you go. So 1080p high, DLSS quality. Maybe I can do a couple adjustments to smooth things out, such as the diffuse reflections and the specular ones, yeah. The volumetric fog. The extra streaming distance I think is not that necessary, same with this one. And that should do. So let's call this mid-high settings. Will you stream Game of the Year tomorrow? Hell yeah. Okay, that did it. Okay, there's enemies over there. That's perfect. Let's try out these settings.
Yeah, if we got those blues hiding in the trees.
Oh, of course, I gotta craft more arrows. If I kill the human inside. Oh, there's a weak point, like in Horizon. Okay, these ones are way more powerful than the than the first humans. Yeah, definitely not supposed to fight them, but that was good. What are your expectations for the Game Awards? I have no expectations anymore for the Game Awards. I'm always disappointed. Okay, so when you die, you can go basically anywhere. The map is very big, as you can see. Not surprising. Okay, why can... Oh, I can spawn over here. Okay, yeah, I'd rather do that. How much FPS difference between these cards? Which cards? I wish I could move the time of day, because on daytime it's even more gorgeous than this. Maybe there's an option to pass time. And also because fast travel, so that's good. Yeah, I mean, if you want native resolution, you can do it, but you gotta lower to medium. Medium doesn't look bad, but high has like the extra. I don't know if I can pass time somehow. Let me check. No, basic. Hang on, let me go get back to base. Hey Morfeo, ¿todo bien? If you do mid-high instead of high, you could drop below 60. This is to ensure that you get 60s. So settings, my recommended settings, 1080p, DLSS quality. On graphics, I mix between medium and high preset. So just say it like this. You lower the reflections a bit because this seemed to be ray traced. You lower the volumetrics a bit. The extra streaming distance I think is not necessary. The object detail from 15 to 10. Otherwise, performance is heavily affected. You still keep the nice reflections. Micro detail has a lot of them. The scatter density on high looks almost the same as ultra. And for tessellation on high is good enough. So that's my advice for the best settings. Let's try 1440p now with balanced DLSS instead. Sí, tiene FSR3, vamos a probarlo en breve. Funciona bastante bien. Let's try the same thing but at 1440p. And DLSS balanced. Okay, not quite 60, but close enough. Looks way sharper. I love this. So I would say at 1440p we can keep the same settings. You have some drops here and there, but visually is way better. I mean the edges. balanced DLSS versus quality, at least at 1440p. Looks pretty samey to me in that regard. Yeah, I can use frame generation, but with FSR, not with DLSS. But we're going to do that later. I need to first try to get daytime somehow. Let me try that. I wonder if I can sleep. As you can see, we're very tall in comparison to humans.
One RDA exec down. How many more to go?
I don't know what this is, but sure.
Wonder if I can.
I'm so relieved you're here. Everything.
They accidentally sell this on Epic Games Store for only $5. Oh no. Well, if it's still up, grab it if you can.
We must prepare for what comes.
I would say the game performs better than I was expecting. Same here, as long as you have a modern card. If you have a 4GB card, it's the complete opposite. FSR 3 doesn't look as good as DLSS, but with the frame generation I can look over that, no problem. I can cook. Jesse. Okay, did I cook? No, that didn't work. I don't know how to cook. Also, one very positive thing about this game, at least in my opinion, it has co-op. And there's crossplay, actually. I didn't know that there was crossplay. Awesome. So co-op in a game like this, fantastic. Great addition. You can frame gen on a 30 series card. No, with DLSS you cannot, but with FSR you do. You do. Thanks to AMD for keeping FSR frame generation open even for Nvidia cards that are from the 20 series and above. So yeah, 1440p. My advice again. DLSS balanced, a mix between medium and high. I had to lower the object detail a little. And it's basically 50 to 60 depending on what's going on, which is great. So now is the turn of 4K. Now we're going to focus on graphics. 4K 60, probably not going to happen. And we're using performance DLSS, but we're cranking it up to high. And then we're trying frame generation again, don't worry. I got you covered. Okay, high preset, DLSS performance. 4K. And now we get great visuals, super sharp image, some drops here and there, maybe I have to tweak the draw distance a bit, but it looks amazing. Does this game has the Nubo? Yes it does. Unfortunately it does. Oh, motion blur on. Hang on. Blech. And as you can see on the VRAM usage, we're using 11 gigabytes. Can I die? Almost. I think if I die, the game will change the time of day, right? Wow, look at this scene. This looks awesome. I mean, look at the amount of vegetation. That's insane. Can we use native AA and frame gen? Yes, you can. You can use frame generation without upscaling, yeah. Oh man, I wish I could change the time of day. Yeah, probably because 4K and there's ray tracing in there.
Where is your clan?
Yeah, still nighttime.
You there. Come.
No, I'm not going.
Now, please.
I'm going the other way around. Please go fly. Unfortunately, I still don't know how to do so. But once you fly, you should still be fine. You're very far away from with the draw distance. The draw distance is pretty good. Especially for the foliage. I'm blown away by that. I mean, I saw the same thing on Horizon Forbidden West. The thing that blew my mind the most on the PS5 on Forbidden West is the amount of foliage is insane, even at a distance. So I'm happy that games are focusing on that more nowadays. It's so immersive. I mean, look at the amount of foliage in here. The game enjoyable so far? Yeah, so far so good. Feels like lighter Far Cry. Like Far Cry Primal, but without the tribe being the enemy. And it's really faithful to the source material so far. Okay, Hunter's Rest, that means that I can sleep and wait for daytime. Yes, pastime, thank you!
Not the sky people.
Thank you! According to Ubisoft, we got multi-threaded support, but we'll see. Dawn? No, not dawn. I want morning or afternoon. It's not the Far Cry engine. It's the Snowdrop engine. Okay, daytime.
She grieves her mother.
Let's go to this place. The vantage point. Movement is low, yeah, because I'm at the beginning of the game, basically. Oh yeah, this is so much better on daytime. Look at this, guys. Let's jump down. And the reflections seem to be a mix of screen space and ray traced. I didn't see anything called ray tracing, but in the options menu on the reflections part, it says that higher settings will be slower if you don't have a ray tracing capable card. So I'm guessing it has forced ray tracing. Let me see if I remove this. Well, I cannot really remove this. No. It's a mix of ray tracing and screen space reflections, apparently. And that's why don't they use planar reflections anymore? Because they're very expensive for performance and they require lots of work to get right. And they have other limitations. But this explains why the reflections are pretty grainy sometimes, especially in the water. These don't seem like cube maps to me. Seems to be a mix of ray tracing with very few sample rate, very little sample rate, with screen space reflections. Can I jump down there? Whee! Atraviesa el planeta, sí, tal cual. All right. Okay, so for 4K, if you are a 30 frames per second person, 4K DLSS performance, basically the high preset with some adjustments. Especially if you adjust this a little bit lower, maybe this on 3 and this on 10, you get more consistent 30s. Like this. But otherwise, looks pretty good, like this. The thing is, what I was talking about ray tracing, here it says in specular reflections as an example. Select the quality of specular reflections such as wet or liquid surfaces done by ray tracing. Applying a higher value in this setting may lower performance if the graphics card doesn't support ray tracing. So maybe they're using their own solution. So now let me show you 1440p with frame generation. Now the frame generation is done by FSR3, so DLSS frame gen not available in this game. And in this card it wouldn't work, so that's the thing. $1650 GDDR6, yes, that's the one I used at the start of the video. Okay, hang on. My monitor doesn't want to use the image that I threw at it. There we go. No, Ricardo, no se puede. Solo cuando estás en vehículos. Namaste, Rushil. No, the 36 is the last one. I'm doing the Steam Deck after this, which will be pretty funny. So yeah. Is it really no vegetation destruction? Good question. Some of it is, but most of it isn't. My monitor is driving me crazy. There we go. Once I get the image back to swap the resolution again. Okay, let's quit out of the game and try again. Something was up. So we're going to try 1440p high preset plus FSR3 quality plus frame gen. I don't know what happened here with the UI. Unfortunately, as I said before, you gotta disable MSI Afterburner for the FPS counter for the FPS counter. What's happening with my voice today? So you gotta disable Afterburner for frame generation to work. I don't think the 750 can launch the game, especially with the VRAM amount. With 4 gigabytes, it was basically unplayable. I mean, it was 30, but you can clearly notice that it's a big problem. 3070 Ti 1440p for this game. Yeah, sure. Should be more than fine. All right. So 1440p, balanced FSR3. On the graphics, we're going for high without motion blur. Okay. 1440p, FSR3, still no frame gen. So frame gen off. For now. All right, so I'm standing here. We're getting 56 FPS, but with frame generation, we're getting, instead of 56, 91, 88. So as you can see now, it feels very smooth. Yeah, it works as intended. The thing is, the UI for the objectives and some of the things breaks the visuals, the UI. It's kind of broken. That's the only thing they need to fix. Otherwise, we're good. RIP 750 Ti, yeah, a while back, actually. So yeah, you can get 1440p with pretty good visuals like this. Let me try Ultra now that we're here. Let me see with frame generation if it saves it. Ultra really is more draw distance and vegetation on screen, but oh, the Ubisoft FPS counter now works. What the hell? I don't know what's going on there. Okay. So even on Ultra now, we're getting a good frame rate. Doesn't feel like 6 FPS though. Feels weird. I mean, latency is good, but it doesn't feel like 60 exactly. It's way better than 30, don't get me wrong. But it doesn't feel like 60. If you know what I mean.
Samson down.
Yeah, if you can see the top left corner now, that UI kills the frame generation for some reason. They need to fix that. Once they fix that, it'll be perfect. Yeah, I should hide. Let me gather my fruit first. I need some stamina. So yeah, that UI is what kills frame generation at the top left. If I can hide that, I can actually hide it. Reticle opace, thicker reticle, hints, quest tracker, disabled. There we go, fixed. Disable the UI that destroys frame generation and you're good to go. And I love that again, I'm saying this a lot, but I love that the arrows sound like a 50 cal being fired. No, not that UI, the objective UI, the one at the top left. Well, even when you pick stuff up, around the UI there's like a depth of field effect. That's like completely blocky with frame generation. Destroys the visuals of the game. It's very distracting. It's like a huge circle that is at half rate. They need to fix that. Probably somebody in a review is going to talk about it. Anyway, so with frame generation it works pretty well, actually. Except in that UI thing. So with frame generation off, this is what you get. The 40s instead of over 60. And it does feel more responsive, but it doesn't look as smooth. So yeah, it basically is better than native 40, but it's not 60. So I enable frame gen again. So yeah, not perfect. They need to fix that UI thing. Yeah, look, feels way smoother, but it doesn't feel like native 60s. With GPU, this one. As you can play on Ultra now with the look of 60, but the feeling of mid 40s, low 50s, which is good. It's fine. The thing is, some UI breaks frame generation very, very much on this one. So yeah. Good to see that we can use frame generation with FSR3. They just need to improve that UI thing and they should be good to go. So yeah, I think I showed you guys enough. Thank you so much for watching. Now I'm going to do this, but on the Steam Deck, so I hope you're ready for that. We are almost there. Let me change the time. Yeah. So you guys get redirected to my other live stream. But I enjoyed this game so far. It's not quite like Far Cry 4 and 5. It's more like Far Cry Primal. But it's more focused on exploration and immersion. So far, performance on the newer cards is better than I anticipated. Seems to have forced ray tracing, which sucks for the other cards. But frame generation works better than I anticipated. They need to tweak the UI thing. No 1080p frame gen, I mean, sure, why not? Give me a moment. You want maximum frame rate, huh? Sure, why not? Let's try to get the highest frame rate possible. Hey, Just Bob, don't worry, I'm going to find you on the Steam Deck livestream, I guess. 4K with frame generation, yeah, you can do it, but the closer you are to 30, the worse it feels with frame generation. But it looks very, very smooth. Okay, my monitor is playing games with me again. So I need to close the game and open it again. That's fine. So while that happens, I'm going to set up the Steam Deck. I installed the game. But it needs some charging. Thanks, guys. Yeah, let me... No, it wasn't Ubisoft Connect, it was the game itself. Alright, so video 1080p, blah blah blah. Let's put it on quality. On graphics, we go to high. I do some tweaks to the draw distance. And what else? No motion blur, of course. And let's see, what's the maximum frame rate we can get? .1080p high, FSR3 quality, frame gen on. And we get... Oh, the frame rate counter. 120. Which is probably 60s on 1080p, but it looks like 120 on my 144 Hz monitor. Let's see, so we got 117 FPS, I think. 123. And without frame generation, let's see. Okay, 78 FPS. So if you're in the 70 to 80 FPS range, you're going to get like 100 FPS. Which makes sense. I mean, it's 1080p. Let's see, 1080p Ultra, frame gen on. Yeah, you get 90 FPS. But again, the UI for the objectives that's tested on screen pretty often really kills it. Let me show you. The quest tracker at the top left corner. See that there's some depth of field effect around the UI? Not sure if you guys notice. That depth of field effect. Well, I'm not sure if it's that obvious for you in the YouTube compression. Let me see. But this section of the screen is very choppy. There's like a straight line, like a circle around it. They just need to fix that. They fixed that, frame generation is almost perfect. That's the thing. They fixed that UI issue. My fix is to disable that UI. So the quest tracker doesn't bother us. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did checking the game out. Thanks Ubisoft again for providing a code. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys. See you in a few minutes. Thanks for watching. Yeah, it's like a border, exactly.